Your time is up.
Launch enabled. GE, main power off.
Main power off. 40. 35. 30.
Status check.
Go Delta.
Go NRL 37. Green board.
25.
Light lock in.
If you'd like to continue watching any of these previews, there will be a link that'll pop up right near the end of each one. This is just a small sample of the NASA videos that I have and have made, exposing them. Near the end of the video, you'll see the option to start the playlist. That'll be the playlist to all these videos. NASA is not at all what they claim to be, and the science they claim to be doing is nothing but hocus pocus and Masonic trick of the hand kind of magic stuff. No doubt NASA and Hollywood work together, if not are one part of the same organization.
Gentlemen, are any of you brave enough, bold enough, courageous enough to fight me now?
He's calling out fortune?
You thrive off of intimidation. My vibrational frequencies are too high for that. You feed off of fear. My 0 point is a great distance from fear. What you are is low vibrational reptilians.
Station, this is Chris Earl with KCRG TV in Cedar Rapids. How do you hear us?
I have you loud and clear, Chris.
All one needs to do is watch NASA's videos and see that their propaganda is majority of the time directed towards children. And look at here, of course, we got our little Mickey Mouse symbol. Think that's a coincidence? I don't think so. It's totally planned and part of the agenda. That's why they show it.
Mount Air native Peggy Whitson is back in space on the International Space Station for Expedition 50. 51 will follow. This launched back in late October. Her crew docked with the ISS in mid-November. And throughout the recent past, we've caught up with Peggy a handful of times as an Iowa native to see what she's been seeing and experiencing as part of NASA. In fact, we last talked with her on the morning show exactly 2 months ago today here on KCRG TV 9. Good morning, Peggy, although again, I suppose morning is relative where you are right now.
I've done quite a few videos on how none of these wires move and how they're static. So what do? They watch my videos, obviously. They watch all our stuff and try to satisfy us, or just do it to mock us. They'll have a situation set up where they'll move the wires, and you'll see later in the video.
Yeah, it's actually getting to be afternoon, late afternoon for me now. I'm on Greenwich Mean Time, so it's 6 hours ahead of you.
So a simple question to ask right away, and I'm curious about this. When you look outside of your window, or the nearest window, what can you see right now?
Well, you got two windows obviously behind you. Why don't you take a peek outside? What's the need to look at a computer to see where you're at?
Well, actually right now we are flying over the Atlantic and coming up on western side of Africa. And actually flying over Africa is really pretty, especially the northern parts where the Sahara is. just because of the peach color that comes in, reflected light off of the sands down there. So it's actually a very beautiful area to fly over. But at any point in time, because our planet is 80% water, you have an 80% chance of seeing water when you look out the window. But even the water and the clouds are actually very dramatic, very beautiful, and especially just seeing the curve of the Earth, incredibly beautiful.
I know you have months and months on this expedition. What are two of the more notable scientific experiments and trials that you and the rest of the crew are working on?
Well, one of the big experiments that I've already gotten started on is called packed bed reactor. It's a way to separate gases and liquids in zero gravity. That's important for us in understanding how to optimize and develop our fuel technologies and other gas-liquid mixtures in future technologies in space, but also just the basic science of understanding how systems work with the lack of gravity also helps us optimize systems in manufacturing on Earth as well.
Well, how does that make sense? Here on Earth, we have gravity. We're not in a zero-G plane like you guys supposedly say you are on the ISS.
So that's one area that I'm interested in. Obviously, being a biochemist, I'm also interested in some of the studies looking at immune function, or we're doing another very interesting one. It's a collaborative international investigation where we're looking at how fluid shifts may affect how our eyes work, because we've seen some damage to our eyes during space flight. And so we're trying to better understand and characterize why sometimes it's reversible, why sometimes it's not, and just to understand that. So we do a lot of interesting studies looking at things that might be contributing to that effect on the eyes.
Europe 1, how do you hear me?
Whoops, just a little bit of blue screen or green screen. Technical malfunctions. Nothing to see here.
Ground control to Major Tom. Your Soyuz hatch and put your helmet on.
Ground to space, can you hear me up there?
Ici, dans la station spatiale à 4...
In the space station at 450 kilometers. Do you hear me on land?
Vous m'entendez sur la Terre?
Yes, do you hear me on land? We hear you perfectly well, Major Tom.
Ground control to Major Tom.
How are you exactly?
Eh ben, écoutez, je suis dans la...
Listen, I'm in the space station, evidently.
Well, you're in the space station, so why would you say evidently that you're in the space station?
I'm in the Japanese module.
Malheureusement, on a entreposé des scaphandres.
I'd like to
On s'est installé ici dans le module.
suggest to you that being installed in the Japanese space station, we're here attached to the space model.
Ah, yeah, see, all you gotta do is listen to them and they tell you.
Attached to the space model. Module.
Ça fait quasiment 2 mois, Thomas, que vous tournez environ.
Tomorrow it'll be about 2 months that you've been orbiting at 450 kilometers.
Yeah, look, Superman can fly too, you know. You're not the only one that can fly on wires, Frenchman.
Is everything going well in your life up there?
Oui, ça se passe bien. Alors, j'ai des...
Yes, things are going well. I've already had worse facilities than this to live in as a student.
Pour bien s'entendre, je pense que ça fait partie du profil maintenant.
But this is part of the profile for people who make a career in this. This is what we're selected to live in. The conditions are outstanding, and we work together. Well, we're very careful to do so. Pay attention to doing that.
You just said that the living conditions on the International Space Station are far better than the living conditions he encountered down on Earth as a student in France or wherever he comes from. Well, that's got to be pretty bad because if y'all haven't seen the International Space Station, it's a aluminum can. Yeah, how does that make sense?
Ok. Demain, vendredi, Thomas Pesquet, vous allez vivre une journée encore plus extraordinaire que
Tomorrow,
vous allez sortir.
Friday, Thomas Pesquet, you're going to have an even more extraordinary day because you're going to be leaving your capsule, going out into space.
We're going to space, boys. Hang on. It's gonna be a bubbly ride.
Forcément froid, il peut aussi faire très
It's not particularly cold. Actually, it's hot. The movement of the molecules is that we don't have any molecules that move around. But if we're exposed on the surface to the heat of the sun, those hot surfaces, which can also be cold surfaces on the other side, and that's why we're wearing our space suit. And we're going to be changing batteries that are about as large as a half a refrigerator. We have one that has to be changed. It'll take about 6 hours. Afterward, we're going to be repairing 3 small things on the outside. And we're going to be doing what's necessary to get everything done that has to be done.